Hello and welcome back to the Olden Shot. I do apologise, it's been a while since the last one, but me, my good lady and her grandson have been on holiday. We've been to Corfu for a couple of weeks and we're back now, and really in the last part of the holiday I was looking forward to getting back and running the film through a camera and developing it again myself. I didn't take any film on holiday because I'm a bit paranoid about x-rays damaging the film, so that holiday was purely digital. This time I'm back and we're going to be back with the black and white film, and I promised you an old camera, probably one that you've not seen before. Some of you might have, and it's this one. Now, it's not the most attractive camera in the world, I know, but I tell you, I really like this camera. This is a Balda Super Matic. I've seen it in various guises, but same camera basically. I've seen it as a Super Balda Matic, and the range cameras comes with two different lenses. There's the Balda lens, don't know that much about that lens, and there's this one which is the Schneider Xenar 45mm f2.8, and it's a cracker. It's a great lens. Now, I did earlier have another Balda camera, which was a Baldessa, and it must have been the top of the range Baldessa because it had all sorts of weird features, and that one did have the Balda lens, and some of the photos I got that were very good, but to be honest I think the Schneider lens is better. The camera is a rangefinder camera. As you can see, you've got the viewfinder window, you've got the rangefinder window, and we've got a selenium meter. And for a camera that was brought out in, must have been the very early 60s, surprisingly, it can be used as an automatic camera with automatic exposure, even though it doesn't take batteries. It's a purely manual camera with a selenium cell meter. And it took me a while to work out, and a search for a manual for this camera, and I eventually worked it out and then confirmed it by finding the manual that to set the automatic exposure you turn the shutter to 125th of a second, which on the scale is marked in red. You turn the aperture ring until it's on the A for automatic, again that is in red, and that's it. I believe it sets the aperture then automatically, but the shutter speed will be 125th of a second. On a 45mm lens, 125th of a second is fast enough to prevent camera shake. It may not stop all motion blur with a fast moving subject, but you can always go to faster shutter speeds by coming off the automatic. As I say, it's a rangefinder, so there's a double image in the viewfinder, and you turn the focus ring until the double image becomes a single image, and then that's you focused on your subject. But it backs that up with having depth of a distance scale, both in feet and in meters, and it's got a depth of focus, a depth of field preview scale on the side, so you can work on things like hyperfocal distance, but it also has symbols for portrait, half body length, groups of people, and mountains for landscape. So that's quite well featured for a candle like this. The other thing is, if you look at it, it has a cold shoe and a socket for your flash to plug into. The top plate is blank, apart from the cold shoe. The shutter releases this button here on the front, just press it down, and it has the hole on the bottom for screwing in a cable release. On the back you see the viewfinder, nothing else. That's because one of the strange features of the Balda is the wind on. It's a little key, half turn, that's it, half turn, that's it. On the bottom it's a bit more busy. As you can see, you've got your wind on there. You've got this little lever here which when it's pressed that way you're taking shots. When you press that way it's ready to rewind and lifts this lever, and it's a little arrow direction, that's for rewinding your film. So click that back over there and that's it, rewind button's back in there. For film loading, you've got two press buttons here, press them both together and the back comes off. On this camera, you load the cartridge on this side, pull your film across, and the take-up spool's on this side. So compared to other cameras, your negative is going to be upside down. No worries there. Another thing about this is it doesn't have light seals. There's deep recesses all the way around for the back to fit into. Fit it in the slot, click it, and that's it. The other thing about this, clever little thing, your rewind lever is at the same height as the high points or low points on the bottom, so you could set your camera up on a flat surface, it'll keep upright, and that's for your timer or selfie, and that's it. We're going to run a film through it and show you the results. I haven't done it yet. As you may be aware, this country is going through a heat wave at the minute with very bright sunshine, no clouds, very hot. Now the shutter speeds on this camera go up to a 500th, from 30th to a 500th plus the B, and the apertures go from 2.8 down to 22. If I use a fast film, in certain situations I may struggle to not overexpose because I haven't got the cushion of a thousandth of a second shutter speed. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a 100 ISO film, and it's going to be Delta 100. I've not used Delta films before, so I'm looking forward to that. I'm confident that this camera will give good results. This lens, as I say, I've tried it on colour shots and it's a cracker. What I'll do is I'll show you some colour shots that I've taken in the past with this camera, and then we'll look at the black and white shots that I'm taking when I get out there. So let's have a look at some shots. Well, the results are in. I might re-evaluate my opinion of the Balda slightly, because it's probably at least 8 years since I last used it, and it's been stored away in its case in a cupboard since then. When I took it out, I found out that the light meter needle isn't displaying no matter what happens. So when I did the photographs, I used Sunny 16s. The fact that the light meter's not working made me think that maybe the automatic exposure isn't working either, so that's why I did Sunny 16s. I did one shot in comparison of a park bench, one shot with Sunny 16s and one shot on auto exposure. And the weird thing is, the one I took on auto exposure seems to be well exposed. So maybe it's just the needle that isn't working, but the meter is working. I don't know. One thing which is a bit silly, I suppose, if you're doing Sunny 16 calculations, park woodland probably isn't the best it's probably not the best subject, because it's very difficult. You've got lots of shadows and you've got lots of highlights, and trying to find the balance can be difficult without mechanical aids. However, I got some good shots, or shots I was happy with anyway. The lens, still praising this Snyder Xenar lens. I think it's a cracker. When I did my research, I found out that it's 4 elements in 3 groups, which is a famous formula which is based on the Tessar lens from Zeiss, and it's good. Ilford Delta 100. Looking at the photos on the screen, very happy, low grain, a decent amount of contrast, great tones. When I started pixel peeping to see if I could see grain in the highlights or in the shadows, I think the grain gives an appearance of like snake skin texture, rather than the dotty grain that you get from normal films. And it's not very attractive, but all I can say to that is don't go pixel peeping. Just look at it as a photo from a normal distance, normal enlargement. No problems there. What I'll do is we'll look at the photos I took, and after that I'll show you the 2 photos of the park bench, one on manual with Sunny 16's calculations, and the second one taken on auto exposure. It looks like it's a slightly wider aperture on the automatic one, because the depth of field isn't so deep. But looking at the lens, when you turn it to automatic, you're going past f22, so I'm assuming it closes it right down, and that on the auto exposure it opens it up to the level it says it thinks it should be at. So I don't know if the auto exposure is working or not, whether I was just lucky with it. Maybe I should have done a few more shots on auto exposure in more difficult situation. Let's look at the photos. So the photos were taken in a place called Leazes Park in Newcastle. Not Leazes Park, Leazes, Leazes. It's right next to the football ground, and it's a Victorian park, I believe. Nicely landscaped. Unfortunately, like a lot of things with where the council may be responsible, it looks a bit tatty and a bit run down in places. Councils just can't spend the money on ground staff, so places like that tend to get a bit neglected. Not to worry. Anyway, the photographs that I got, I'm happy with. The next video, I've been trying to think what camera to use. So there's a number of choices to go for. I'm thinking about giving the Minolta Dynax 4 another tryout, to give it another chance. I can't believe there's such a thing as a bad Minolta camera, so I'm thinking about giving that another go. I might try the Zenit E. I know that my experience in doing the Zenit TTL a few videos ago was not really happy. It's a hard camera to operate. The Zenit E is a bit more basic, and I actually think it might be easier to use. There are a number of other cameras as well. I was thinking about the Kodak Retinet, but I think the 50s and 60s compacts, I'm going to leave them for a little while. Whatever it is, it'll be up soon. We're hoping to get back to regular output now that the holidays are over. I'm retired, so I've got time to do these things. See you soon. Thanks for watching, and goodbye for now.